So we're all here together, but spread across the globe, sharing our lives online. The internet certainly has come a very long way, but it seems the road ahead is a lot more interesting still. To talk about how the future of the online world is being developed, please welcome my special guest, Microsoft evangelist Zane Nabulsi. Zane, in recent years we've witnessed a real boom in new virtual worlds appearing almost every day, and it's growing like crazy, isn't it?
You know, the predictions that both Forrester and Gartner have made have been fairly dead on. I think if you kind of aggregate them and look at them on the whole, they tend to agree that at the very least, somewhere around 2015, it's just going to be, 80+%, 90%. A very high percentage of folks will, and particularly corporations, will have adopted some type of virtual world experience. Let's take Twitter, for example, adoption rates and adaptability, et cetera, et cetera. The barrier to entry for something like that is much lower. The learning curve is significantly lower. When we're talking about something as significant as, immersive spaces that require a much steeper learning curve, and let's face it, a paradigm shift, and I'm glad I got a chance to use the word paradigm today. I think it's a perfectly acceptable timeline and absolutely very rapid.
Because I know that Microsoft is pretty active in the virtual world space. I know, for instance, we recently visited Reaction Grid that Microsoft is supporting. What are some of the other things that Microsoft is up to in virtual worlds?
The biggest area that I'm really engaged with is in community. I started the whole effort around community, and that was a big deal for me. I truly believe that if we're going to see the kind of explosive growth that needs to happen, that it's going to need to happen from two parallel directions. One of them is grassroots type of effort. That's user groups, getting folks who would normally maybe not be in this space, getting them outside of their comfort zone and coming into this space and realizing the benefits and that sort of thing. But I also believe that there's a corporate piece to that as well, and there needs to be adoption inside the firewall, and I think we're seeing movement in that direction.
Is that one of these is an awful lot of push going on? Do you think that the corporate sector, which can be by nature a bit conservative, is putting up some resistance to this?
Some are, but you would be amazed at how forward-thinking some companies truly are. There are some companies who have not only are looking at it, but have embraced it completely. I think the problem we face now is that for those companies who want to adopt virtual worlds, they see it as a strategic advantage. And so it's in their best interest, at least in their mind, not to talk about it as much, and therefore you don't hear about it.
Prompts me to ask you about citizen journalism. It's going nuts at the moment, and you read this stuff in blogs and elsewhere, and you can tell it's not written by a journalist. And personally, I'm quite surprised and even a little shocked at some of the stuff people write. What challenges or opportunities does it present to companies like Microsoft? Do you guys embrace it, or do you treat it with caution?
I've always been of the opinion that we need to embrace it. I think you can either fight it or you can work with it, and working with it's absolutely the best way to go. Don't try to fight these things. And to Microsoft's credit, we haven't. To my knowledge, we like, for example, if I wanted to, I could quite literally go to my Microsoft blog. I mean, I could totally blast our products. I could do whatever I feel like. I could say cuss words, and I have never, ever been censored, and don't expect I ever would be. And certainly we have basic guidelines, but the guidelines are more around things like don't have porn on your blog or something, just common sense stuff. Those of us who are living now are truly dealing with an interesting dichotomy where we haven't been born into the digital age. We have watched it become what it is. The next generation, I don't think, will have any type of problems adapting and evolving this medium.
Well, why don't we just explore that a little bit further? Go ahead and polish up your crystal ball for a moment and tell us about the future. How do you see the whole online thing playing out? What kind of life online will we have in the not-too-distant future?
I think it's going to change fundamentally. I don't think it'll be anything like what we have today. If I were to guess, the natural evolution for things to me would be beginning with Web 2.0, getting more immersive. And I myself have actually done experiments in that direction where I've taken Facebook groups and said, why don't we actually meet right online using technologies like live meeting, and LinkedIn groups, same deal, and have had huge success doing that and love it. Then we get into the 3D spaces. I think think we're going to see the merging of the 3D immersive space with the Web 2.0 type, slightly different visual medium. I don't think it'll be a flat two-dimensional thing. I don't believe 3D immersive spaces as they exist today will be there at all. I think over the next 10, 20 years, we're going to see augmented reality come into play. And then what we will ultimately see, best guess 20 years from now, is a blending of all of this.
Zane, it's been great having you on the show. Thank you very much. Would you come back and visit us again one day and chat some more?
Be my pleasure. I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Zane Nabulsi.